If you are an entrepreneur, you likely heard about establishing your brand and the importance of branding. It's a popular topic among entrepreneurs and marketers. But what exactly is branding? Why it's important? When you've got to start thinking about establishing your brand? And how you can establish a connected brand that organically attracts your ideal clients? That's why it's very important. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And that's why I invited a marketing expert to talk about creating a connected brand. So please make sure you share this broadcast with friends, family members, colleagues, neighbors, anyone who may benefit from this knowledge. Grow your wealth, live on your terms. Hello, creative people. Welcome to the Conversations with Experts, the show that connects you with experts in different areas of life. Our intention is to help you be your best self and create your best life. I'm Millen Livis, the host of the show and financial independence mentor. Are you a driven and busy entrepreneur who dreams about being financially independent so that you work because you want to, not because you have to? I hear you. Look, there are two kinds of people in the world. Those who spend their whole lives working to make money, just to make ends meet. And those who enjoy the freedom in their lives because they figured out how to make their money work for them. If you don't want to worry about money when you're in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, then start planning your way to financial independence now, right now. So go ahead and download the Wealth Planner for free. And here's the link to download it. Download this Wealth Planner and work your way through it right away. And if you want real-time support, join my free Facebook group, Wealth Building for Powerful Women. And here's the link for that. Okay, so I hope you will take advantage of these free resources. And now we're going back to our topic today, which is creating a connected brand. And my amazing guest today is Elizabeth Pampalone. Elizabeth, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so I have so many questions to ask you because I know how amazing you are at what you do. And I would like to start with something very as basic as like why you became marketer, like what brought you to this kind of work environment or work niche. And how did you become an expert? Because I know that you are an expert in this field.
So I actually started building websites when I was 14. So I've been doing this for almost 20 plus years. And I was working with small businesses and helping them with their businesses, helping them do marketing. And it was before I even really knew what all of it was. Then I went to college to become a programmer. Did that for about a year, and then I started my own business. So I've been doing that ever since, and I've had my business for about 15 years.
So basically, you kind of like naturally fell into this, right? Which is the best thing you can do in terms of career when it's kind of like flows toward you, or you flow into it. So today the topic is branding, because I know you do different things for your clients, but today I would like to focus on branding. So could you please tell us what is branding?
Well, I believe it's the most important thing that your business can have. I believe it's also the most important piece that all of your other pieces of marketing will filter on top of, and kind of that's your foundation. So you need to lay those other pieces on top of the brand. For example, when I work with someone, we do a 5-day system. We start with branding. It's an entire one full day on branding. And then we do website, social, emails, blogs. We go through the whole thing with one project each day, but branding is that first piece. I've had people come to me even to just do a website, but if I know that their brand is not strong enough to basically be the good foundation for the website, for the social, all the other things they'll need, then I will either make them redo it or tell them how to fix it, because the brand has to be that strong. It
So
is
how do you
your visual
define
representation.
brand? How do you define, like, what is brand?
Yeah, it is your visual representation of what you do, who you are. And it has to evoke a feeling. So it's not just a pretty colored logo or a little picture or something. This is the feeling, the experience you want people to have right up front as a visual representation. And it also includes your messaging. And you can't really have a business without having a message that you want to get across, whether it's a message about, finances, or a message about creativity, or whatever the thing that you're offering people is. You might think it's, oh, well, I do websites for people. That's tangible, but that's not really what you're offering them. You're offering them a way to get their message out there. And so your message has to be something that connects with them on a level where they nod in agreement when they hear it, and when they read it on your website, your social channels, your business card, whatever that is.
So would you say that, because I like to start from the definitions when we talk about anything, would you say that branding is a representation, not only visual, but in general, representation of your vision, of the benefits that your people receive from you, right? And so messaging, visual representation in terms of colors, in terms of logos, and it has to evoke, like you said, it has to evoke feeling and maybe excitement and inspiration, like whatever feeling, positive feelings it can evoke, hope, etc. Right? So that's it's kind of like a package. Branding is not just logo or colors. It's the whole package of very important aspects that every business has to have and has to be aware of, right? That's what.
Yeah, it's the heart and soul of your company. And if you think of heart and soul in a, physical sense or in a personal sense, it's not just one thing, right? It's very complicated. It's got a lot of pieces, got a lot of moving parts. They're kind of interconnected. And so this is really that thing that houses all the emotion. It houses all that connected pieces, so that when you have those certain words, that's part of your messaging, that when someone sees it or hears it, when they read it or they hear it, they're like, oh, that's me. Like, they get me. And for like my website, I don't sell marketing, right? That's what the tangible outcome is of what I do. But what I actually sell is relief, because a lot of people that come to me are overwhelmed. They're tired. They have anxiety over these things. And I'm saying that doesn't have to exist. So I'm selling relief. I'm not really selling marketing per se, even though marketing is what comes out of it.
It's very interesting that you brought it up, because I work with different business coaches, so they usually talk about your messaging, your your ideal client avatar, etc. But they don't connect this to brand, and that's why. In my experience, and I know that some of my colleagues experience as well, that branding is something that you do later on in your business, because it's usually it's something for established businesses, something for people, businesses that already have profits and have money to to work with a designer, etc. So could you tell us, when do you think it's a good idea to start thinking about creating brand for your company, based on what on the definition that you gave us, which is different than day one?
Day one has to be day one, because it is the foundation. If you start to put things out on social media and it doesn't have your brand in it, if you start to build a website and it doesn't have your brand in it, you're going to have to start over with your website, and you're going to have to basically count all that other social media as wasted, because it doesn't connect with the audience the way that it should. When you look at something on social media, you're scrolling through, you see something, it sticks with you, it kind of resonates with you. Then you go to tell someone about it, because we always tell people about it. We tell a friend, a husband, a spouse, whatever, right? So you go to tell somebody about it and you say, oh, I saw this great thing on Facebook. Let me see if I can find it again. you don't want people to say that about you. You want them to say, Elizabeth posted this great thing on Facebook. Absolute Marketing had this great thing on Facebook. Millen posted this great thing on Facebook. You want them to associate it with you immediately. Because if they don't, that means your branding wasn't correct there. It wasn't connected enough for it to connect with their brain and have them remember it because of you, not outside of you. And so if you have something that you've said that's really impactful and really helped them, then you want them to share you with other people, not to just say, oh, someone once told me XYZ, right? Or I read somewhere. That's not a good thing. We want it to be connected enough that it says, oh, Elizabeth told me this, or Elizabeth put this on her social and it was great, and this is what it said. So having that brand first is important because everything else is built on top of that. I get people that come to me and say, my marketing isn't working, my social isn't working. And it's because when I look at everything, it's all pieces, right? They say, this is my social, and they move over here. This is my website, and then they move over here. This is my blogs and my emails. Nothing is connected. The colors aren't the same. The fonts aren't the same. There is no cohesion through anything. And even for me, my brand colors are green and tan or gold or whatever. And I wear green everywhere that I speak, every podcast I'm on, every show I'm on, every TV appearance, every stage appearance. Even if I'm just emceeing, I'm wearing green because this is what people recognize. They connect with that. And as humans, we connect with things like fonts and colors and visual aspects. Even if we're not visual learners, we still connect with visual cues. So it's kind of like that Pavlovian theory of, you ring the bell, that's an auditory cue. And then the dog's like, okay, where's my treat, right? And so when we see certain things, it will trigger our memory to go, oh, that reminds me of this, or that reminds me of that. And so if I wear green every time, I've had people come up to me in meetings and after talks and things, and they'll say, oh, I saw your green the other day at such and such store. They were in a store, in a mall, doing their own personal whatever shopping, and they thought of me in a time where I was nowhere near them. I wasn't on their radar. They were in a personal space, not a business space. And they thought of me because of a visual cue of this color. It's not my green. It's Kelly green. It's not anything fancy. But they used it as, their brain used it as a visual cue, just like the Pavlovian auditory cue. So I believe in wearing your colors and wearing them consistently and picking one and like sticking with it. Because I never wear the tan. It doesn't look good on me. So I picked one that did look good. But using that to your advantage, because if you start on day one with this, then you can start building that. Even if you can't change your website right now, even if you can't change your logo right now, pick something and start with it and see how it catches on. You could also become like the scarf lady. Like I had one girl, she had purple in her logo, but she didn't really have any purple clothes. And she was like, I don't want to redo my whole wardrobe just yet. I want to see if this works. And so she started buying really cheap, inexpensive purple scarves. And she started wearing these scarves everywhere. And people were like picking up on that, like telling her that, oh, I saw this the other day. Oh, that reminded me of you, things like that. So she started to see that it worked.
So these scarves were not purple. They were just scarves.
They were purple. Yes.
They
were purple scarves. Okay. Yeah. So she was using her color, but she introduced it in a very inexpensive way so she could try it out. And then she started to change her wardrobe. She started to get purple blazers and lavender, shirts and things like that.
Got it. So, okay. So basically what you're saying that, we represent our brand, and the easiest way for people to remember this representation is to wear the one of the colors in your brand. It doesn't have to be all colors. Like I have several colors like navy blue and purple and red, so I don't have to wear all of them, but at least one of them consistently would be helpful. Great. So I also know that you have your own method for creating this brand, and you call it creating a connected brand. So I would like to hear what it is, connected brand, and what benefits your clients and people who follow your guidelines, what benefits they receive from creating a connected brand.
One of the first things that we do when I sit down with someone is I have them write a list of adjectives that is about them. It could be good, It could be bad, could be indifferent. Doesn't matter. It's whatever
About
they think
them or
about
they,
themselves,
about
about
them?
themselves,
Okay.
about them as a person. And when they write this list, it helps them to get out all of the things about themselves that they believe. And I also have them add to this list things that other people have told them about themselves, because we often don't think of everything, for ourselves. We often have a skewed view of ourselves. And so then they'll add adjectives to it that are, oh, someone told me I was trustworthy. Someone told me I was a good friend. Someone told me, whatever. So you put all that together. That's your personal list. Then in the column next to it, so literally on the same page, right down the middle, you put 2 columns. One is on yourself, and then one is on your business. And it's what you think about your business, how you want it to be perceived, and what other people have told you about your business. Because even if you have no clients, you've done some of your own work before, right? You've helped a friend, you've helped a family member with whatever it is that you're going to be doing going in the future. Even if you say, well, I haven't had any clients. Nope, you have. And so write down a list of what you think about your brand and your business and what other people have told you about your business. And when you create those 2 lists, I then have them draw a connecting line from the same words or very similar words, because things sometimes mean the same thing, different words, right? And so I'll have them look at that list and start connecting the lines, right? Almost like those old kids games we used to play. And so once they do that, they find that there's a lot of similarities. And when I hear them talk about their business, I have them explain it to me. I actually go into these sessions with no prior knowledge to their business. I don't look anything up on them. I don't research them. And the reason I don't do that is because I want them to tell me as if I was a brand new client. Didn't know about them at all. And I need them to express it to me. And I might even act dumb sometimes and go, wait, what does that mean? Why is that? Or how would that be? Even though I might know some of these answers, I want them to express it to me. So now we have this list. And I have them expressing this to me as if I know nothing. And in some cases, I don't. But once we have those 2 pieces, it actually shows all the connection we need between themselves as a person and their business, because they are their brand. They are the one that people hire. People hire people, not companies, right? And so once we have all those pieces there, we can now look at that and say, what do these individual words that have stuck out to us, what do they mean? How do they express what you do? How do they connect with an audience that you're trying to connect with? So if they tell me their clients are, the audience they're trying to connect with is women 35 to 45 or 25 to 45, but then we actually start looking at it and their clients are really women 45 and up, because they didn't realize their brand was connecting with a different type of audience, and that most of their customers so far, or their potential customers or people they've worked with in the past, were actually in this other demographic, but they've been trying to go after this demographic that's just not working because their brand wasn't connecting with those people. It was connecting with a different group. So really working on that list of 2 things, connecting those dots, really seeing what those words are telling you, and then going to, how do I explain this to somebody, my business, to someone that doesn't know anything about it, and pulling out words from those explanations and putting those 2 things together really makes it so that you can see, how is my brand connecting with people? And when I use these words, what people does this connect best with?
Very interesting approach. And I can tell you that I work with different business coaches. That I never heard about this approach, but I didn't work with marketers like they were business coaches. So maybe it's a very specific spin from marketing perspective. So what I would like to ask you, because I like to offer tangible benefits to people who watch us. So if someone at the very beginning, for example, what kind of assets they need to prepare in order to create a connected brand, what they need to bring to the table, not when they have consultation with you, but for themselves. Like you mentioned, messaging would be one of the assets that they need to prepare. So can you give us like ABC?
Yeah, so I recommend that people do a business plan, at least one page. They don't have to be 30 pages unless you're going for funding. So I recommend that you create a business plan, and that's going to cover your mission, your vision, and some of your marketing aspects. It's also should cover your team, and it should cover your break-even aspects. I have a one-page business plan course on my website in my membership. But I do recommend one page. You can go online and find a free one as well. And that's going to give you a lot of the assets you need, including that messaging, which is your mission, vision, and a couple other pieces in that. You also need a logo, which, obviously is, depending on who you work with, could be expensive, could be not expensive. But at the same time, you want to make sure you get the right pieces of the logo. So I always recommend to do a horizontal logo as your main logo. It should be uncomplicated. It should be very simple. I know people don't like to hear that, but it really should be simple. It gives the most impact. It also should be iconic, meaning it should not have a photo in it. It should not be using any kind of complicated imagery. It should really be simple with the name of your company, maybe adding your tagline. And once you have that, you're going to do that horizontal version for your website and your business card. And then you're going to do a square version for your social media. And you're also going to create a mark, which is just your icon by itself. And then I also like to create all of these things in black, white, gray, and full color so that you have a wide range of options. You never know when you're going to need a gray logo. You never know when you're going to need a white one to put on something dark, especially if you're sponsoring something. They always just slap the logos on there and then you can't ever see it because your writing is in black, but you were on the black part of the image. So the things can go wrong like that. So I like to have all those options. So when I work with somebody, I give them about 16 to 20 different file formats. You also need the EPS version of your logo, a PDF, a PNG, and a JPEG version. I like to have all of those to use because you're going to need those for printing and things like that in the future. And so those are the pieces for the logo. You also need brand guidelines. I have an entire course on branding, and I put a brand guideline template in there. A lot of designers do not provide this, but this is your one-stop image that's going to show you what your colors are, what the color numbers are, very important, and your fonts so that you know what.
I think I know this one is very important because I do have a brand, how do you call it? Brand
like a guideline or document.
Yeah, guideline that has everything. And every time when I need to work with someone new, I just give them this file and they can find everything there. So that's very, very cool. Anything else that, because you mentioned already a lot, I didn't expect it would be so many assets. Anything else that is important for people to know?
I think that, people try to put the marketing, like you said, down towards the middle of after they've done the coaching, after they've done all this research. And I honestly believe that your marketing should actually be with all that. I think a lot of times people get into this research and development mode and then they never launch. They never actually do anything. And so with my methods, it's business coaching and marketing together because I've actually sat with someone when to do their website and we had just done their branding. Everything was great. And we sit down to do their website and they're like, I don't know what to charge. And I said, all right, let's figure it out because I know those things. I know how to get people to those places where they can actually say, one guy was overcharging for his pricing and one guy was way undercharging. So, I've run the gamut with those things and our team is really good with this. So whether you're working with me or one of our team, I believe that coaching and branding and coaching and websites and coaching and all the marketing pieces should be done together. Because if they're not, then you have this disconnected brand, a disconnected marketing plan, and you're not really feeling like it all is smooth. And then it never launches because you get stuck. Analysis paralysis.
and just since we established that branding needs to be addressed at the very beginning, day one, and for most people who just starting out, cost of branding would be a consideration. So how much could it cost to establish your brand with all the assets that you mentioned from the very beginning? Can you give us the idea, like a range maybe?
You could hire a college student for $300 to give you a brand. It would be a logo. It wouldn't be a full brand. It'd be a logo. And then you'd have to kind of work on the other pieces on your own. But they're not going to coach you through anything. They're going to say, what do you want? And then they're going to make it technically, right, in a design format. But if you work with someone who's actually knows branding and is maybe a coach / marketer person, then I for my firm, all of our pricing is on our website, but currently we charge $2,200 for the day. And most companies take 6 to 12 weeks to create a brand. We do it in one day because we believe that it should be simple, it should be easy, it should not take that long, and it shouldn't be that laborious on you as the client. And so we do it in one day, but that pricing, that amount, that's an investment. That's something you're going to get back because your business is going to move forward. So when people take 12 weeks and they put in $2,000, $3,000 into a brand to work with a big firm. I actually had somebody tell us that we weren't a big enough firm to work with them. And they worked with another company. It took them 16 weeks to do their stuff. It was crazy. But when you work with somebody, on that long of a piece, you're losing money every single day that your brand isn't launched or your website or whatever.
Right. So basically you're saying that you have to be mindful who you hire, because yes, you can get it less expensive, but what kind of results you will get from this? Or you can have someone who is expensive and will take a long time, or they can come to Elizabeth and say, I am ready to do branding, and you will basically do it within one day because you have this format of doing this, right? You develop this structure that allows you to take one day to develop all the assets that you mentioned. Awesome. So I guess the next logical question would be how people can contact you and what they can receive from you. Maybe you have some free gifts.
Yeah. So my website is getabsolutemarketing.com, and I do have 2 free things that people can get. One is the Pro Toolkit. It's all the tools I use every single day in my business, and I use with my team. So you can download those and get those as well. Some of them are free. Some of them have discounts. The other free thing you can get is joining my membership. So I have a lot of free 5-day challenges, 5-day challenges. I have free downloads, free PDFs, free courses, and then also just asking questions and being a part of the community. I do a free training every month. A free guest expert is coming in every month. And also we do a free networking event every month. So all those things are available there. And then I also have some courses that are inexpensive that really walk you through all the things we talked about today, including the other days that we do as well.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. So thank you so much, Elizabeth, for joining us today. And thank you, everybody who was watching us today with a live or in recording. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your interest in this topic. And I look forward to seeing you next week, next Wednesday, and the same place, Facebook page, Dare to Change Life, at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Thank you. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Be well. Grow your wealth. Live on your terms.